Well, here is Baltimore's house, and there's no blacksmiths here anymore. The whole place is empty! Unless if there's people inside? Nope. Nope. And nobody will be ever coming back in here. Oh! Olkin's receipt. Diagram, robust yellow meteorite. Olkin's receipt? Oh, is this Thorak's house? Cause I know earlier we got Thorak's key when we killed him. An item clearly crafted by dwarves. Olkin's receipt. Confirmation of the receipt of chalice issued by Reverend Olkin. I received the ordered chalice and am forwarding the first payment as agreed. Know, however, that the ornamentation was sloppily executed. The object as a whole looks shoddy and is hardly identical to the original. If the item ultimately serves its purpose and my needs, you will receive the remainder of your remuneration immediately after the council. Olkin. Okay? Wait, a chalice is a large cup or goblet typically used for drinking wine. Oh! Is this related to Saskia? Olkin? Who's Olkin? Huh. Reverend Olkin. Well, apparently this is a... Is this a quest item? Yes, it is. Maybe it's gonna come up in another quest later on, and I just found this early right now. Pretty sure we don't need to look for a receipt by an Olkin just yet. Just like how the quest told me to go to Cecil, not go through Thorak's house without permission. Hey! Oh wow, you have a really big dining table. Never really looked at that.
By the pricks of the male gods! Master Baltimore's notes! Where did you get them?
I discovered his vault near the troll's lair. By the way, Thorak, your new runemaster, is dead. He and his 2 apprentices have left for a better world.
What? How did it happen?
Thorak murdered Baltimore. There's enough evidence in the notes I just gave you.
Thanks, Witcher. A reward for your labors. It's not much, but I'll be needing funds to appoint and equip a new runemaster now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I think I see how this is. Yeah, the notes that we got, the portion that we were able to read, was Baltimore leaving a sign of who killed him. But in addition to that, of the parts that we can't read, it actually had Baltimore's secret blacksmithing techniques as well, which is what I just gave Cecil. I want to read the thingy for that one though. Baltimore's nightmare. Yeah, the Witcher found an Ingrid sign. Following the Ingrid signs, he found a key hidden by Baltimore. The Witcher looked at the notes and followed the second path. That one was... yeah. Thorak shadowed Geralt the whole time. He had a guilty conscience. The letter found by the Witcher was irrefutable proof that Thorak had killed Baltimore. Our hero decided the Virgin Elder should learn of this. Oh, good thing we didn't take his deal, huh? He was being too fishy. Cecil Burden was shattered by the news of Thorak's crime. In one stroke, a murderer was discovered and a rune master lost. The Elder began to ponder the situation, yet he did not forget to reward the Witcher for solving the mystery. Oh, at first, you thought it was just some random sign on the board outside the inn, but it turns out there was a whole quest attached to it. Geralt didn't make any mention of the receipt, so I'm guessing that's gonna come in later on. Which means, the only side quest we have left is actually killing the succubi. Or not killing the succubi, and I finally figured it out. I saw a lot of you guys were commenting that I should be getting surgical tools from the lady in the marketplace. And with the surgical tools, I'm supposed to bring it back to that body in the catacombs, and that's gonna give me the evidence that I was looking for. I even bought the book about the succubi from this lady. Surgical tools, quest item. Okay. Well, my question is, like, how were you supposed to know that? Did I just not Like, how were you supposed to figure out that you needed to buy this? Because even after I bought it, the quest didn't update. Yeah. Like, I understand that when we looked at the body, Geralt said, there's something I can't pick out. I'm gonna need special tools for that. But like, how exactly were you supposed to arrive at the conclusion that, oh, this lady sells the tools that are just called surgical tools and you just know to buy them? That part I'm not too sure about, but let's head back to the catacombs.
This corpse is fresh. Someone brought it here recently.
There was a metal piece on the guy's arm, I think.
He's grasping a few long hairs in his hand.
Not his hand.
The forearms are cut up pretty badly, as if he had to defend himself. There's something embedded in the bone. A metal splinter. Interesting.
Metal splinter. Is that it? Oh, so that's implying that these claw marks are not done by an animal's claws, but a metal object? The succubus doesn't have anything made of metal on her, right? Oh. I guess the one hard thing to make sense of all of this is that the succubus actually did have sex with these men, so all the traces of sulfur and how, like, oh, their energy seems drained away, that's actually true because she admits it. She did have sex with them. But the bigger question is, did she just have sex with them or did she actually kill them? The metal piece that we just picked up. The metal piece did not change anything in the quest, but maybe we can give it to Iorveth.
Greetings, Gwynblade.
Your Scoia'tael, Elias, is murdering people from Vergen.
Any proof? Elias is one of my best warriors.
I found a splinter from a blade in one of the bodies. Compare it to Elias's weapons.
I'll see to it. Elias must have learned that I know the truth about his madness. He's fled the city.
Oh! So it is Elias then. Because only guilty people would run. Talk to the succubus. Iorveth is just gonna let it go? He's like, well, one of my men killed a succubus. The end, that's it. Geralt decided to accuse Elias. He presented what little evidence we had gathered to Iorveth. The Scoia'tael leader wanted to talk to his subordinate, but Elias was far away by then. He had fled. Still uncertain of the elf's guilt, the Witcher went to tell the succubus everything. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. It's probably about time we go fetch Dandelion anyway, because he's been with the succubus for like a full day. I hope he's okay.
I'll not be put down like some dog. Fight!
Oh, what the? Oh! Wow, that really scared me because it came out of nowhere. Are you sure about this? I don't really wanna... Oh, wrong sword, by the way. I should be using the steel sword. He's blocking everything I got, though. But all enemies eventually die. Instead of leaving, he actually stayed behind to ambush me. Why didn't he just try to kill the succubus himself? I don't even know what this guy wants anymore. Yeah, he kind of killed himself for no reason. He could have just left, but he didn't. Geralt decided that Elias, guilty or not, would sooner or later kill the succubus. The Witcher's discussion with the elf quickly escalated into a fight. Discussion? And Geralt slew the Scoia'tael. We will never know if Elias was truly the murderer, yet we think this is very likely. Either way, the Witcher decided he deserved some reward and went to see the succubus about it. Oh, what kind of reward? We never had a discussion, he just sort of came at me. That was... He really should have just left. It's kind of sad though, because what if he didn't? What if he really didn't kill the men? Oh. We have some proof, but is it really airtight?
I'm pleased you put an end to that fool's torment. You'll be blissfully rewarded. Disrobe and relax.
Okay, well, I worked hard for this. Oh my.
In the box by the bed, I left you a small
Where is she?
gift. Something to remember me by. Goodbye, Witcher.
Oh, did she drain my energy? I'm like drunk now and she's gone. Oh. This box? Tyson's armor, Rook. Oh, Rook potion. Ooh, this armor is better than what we have right now, so we should use it. Do we have any armor enhancements that we can put on it right now? The percentages aren't better, but the armor point is +1. Yeah. Tyson's armor! That's a little bit of a funny armor for us to be getting here. I think it came up once, very briefly, at the end of Roach's Path in Chapter 3. But Tyson is the family line that rules Kovir, so the place that Sheila comes from. And they had a king that was mentioned in the novels, Esterat Tyson. Okay, hold on, let me do the enhancement first. Vitality +15, armor +1. Armor +2, let's do this one. We have 3 of them, just put it on. Actually, before we do that, do we have another better armor? I seem to remember yeah, we have Kedweni leather armor that I never even wore, but I guess the one we have right now is better anyway. Okay, fine. Just put like 3 dwarven enhancements on it. Or 2. 2 is fine. Oh, Vran? Did I put a Vran one on it? No, I want a dwarven one. Dwarven. Yes. Dwarven is the only one that gives armor +2. Okay, well there you go. Brand spanking new armor. Plus being drunk. So Tyson is the family line that rules Kovir. I'm not sure if they still do, but at some point that definitely was the case. I think it still is the ruling family here. And what happened in the novels was that they had a king called Esterat Tyson, and he's a little bit different from the rest of the men in the Witcher universe a bit. In the way that he's very loyal to his wife, the queen of Kovir. He's completely in love with her, and he's really monogamous too, so he's not like, oh yeah, let's just have sex with whatever woman we want, whether or not we're in a relationship, blah blah blah. And that was really annoying for people who wanted to spy on Kovir, because one of the easiest way to do that would be to plant a woman, a spy, by the king's side, so that, you know, they would have sex and he would tell her things or just eavesdrop on his conversations on a daily basis, blah blah blah. And that was something that they couldn't do with Esterat Tyson because he was so in love with his wife that he didn't want any other woman. Very unfortunately though, if I remember right, he died because invaders came into his castle and he stayed behind instead of fleeing because he was trying to protect his wife. So it's a bit ironic because the downfall of kings are women in the sense that, oh, they get seduced by women and they get spies planted by their sides. But in Esterat Tyson's case, his downfall was also a woman, but it was because he loved his wife too much. It's kind of a sad tale, and it's kind of strange to be getting Tyson's armor from a succubus, because, you know, devilish women and all. With that quest, I think we're actually done the side content here, aside from this one that's like, wait for events to unfold. Yeah. Maybe we want to go back to Stennis to get some royal blood. I don't think he's free for us though. We can go give the bandana now, I think. Everything else comes after giving the bandana. Pretty much. Well, before we go do that, I was told that there's a few NPCs, or excuse me, a few people in town who I didn't talk to yet, who I could talk to. So I'm gonna see if I can find these people here.
Damnation!
Apparently there's a monk around here somewhere.
How are you?
Maybe they're not here right now? I don't see a monk. Apparently they're supposed to be around the fireplace by the market here. It's not this guy. Or maybe it's not time for him to show up yet, I don't know. Well, it doesn't seem like he's here for now. Life and Death of the White Rose. Did we ever read this? Oh, contains information on Illyrin? The story of the one known as the White Rose of Sherawed is both sad and tragic. Over 200 years ago, Erlin led elven youth into a hopeless fight against humans. This heroic dash could end only one way. They died for freedom, for stone and marble of their cities, and for Erlin. Just as she promised, she died with dignity, heroism, honor, and yet elves could not rise again after that defeat. However, she remains a symbol of fighting for freedom to this day, and elven insurgents go to battle with her name on their lips. Is the name Eddern partially inspired by this? I think we've read it before because we've definitely been in this house before, on Roach's Path. It's just that I didn't bother coming in here now. Okay, well, besides the monk, supposed monk person here,
The plague!
we haven't talked to Cynthia yet, who apparently was hiding behind Philippa in her room, and maybe Zoltan as well. So let me see if I can track them down. Oh, hold on.
Humans are
There's someone with a blue dot here.
Let's hear it.
Oh, Witcher, I'm glad I found you. I've got something for you.
Again?
We know each other?
So surprised by a stranger bearing gifts. You humans, egotistical barbarians you are. I was in Flotsam when the massacre started. Just accept it. I won't take no for an answer.
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure you already gave me your thing, but I'll take it again, sure. I don't know why they did it again.
So, Vergen's grown a bit, eh?
Zoltan, who is sleeping soundly.
Geralt, first throat of the Witcher's Guild. Finally, a drink with someone worth talking to.
Short on company?
What can Yarpin tell me? I prefer listening to horses fart.
I was under the impression we talked to Zoltan already, but we talked to everybody but Zoltan around this table. Oh. All these things that we should have asked earlier, we never asked him.
Any idea where I can play dice around here?
Try the blacksmith's helper.
That might be a problem.
I wanted to talk to you about the Free State of Vergen. We haven't had the occasion somehow.
True.
Do you buy into Saskia's ideals?
Are you asking me if I believe what she says or if I believe she'll be successful?
Both.
Saskia's no liar, that's a fact. But whether we'll manage, who can tell? One thing is sure, we'll never know if we never try. For now, a great battle awaits. A battle in which elf, dwarf, and human will stand side by side. And that is beautiful in itself.
It's also the biggest potential weakness.
Nothing unites folk like shared death. I believe those who survive will honor the deaths of their comrades.
If they win.
Even if they don't. News spreads fast. Others will follow in our footsteps.
If the non-humans win, later on, it might turn out to be more like a dwarf versus elf thing, but if it does turn out to be that way, we'll just worry about it later on.
The Kingslayer's trail has gone cold. Have you heard anything?
No one could sneak into Vergen. We watch day and night. Anyway, who would they come for here? Stennis? Why so keen on capturing the assassin of kings?
Because I'm being framed. I think we talked about this on the other side too.
Letho knows a lot about me. Certain things maybe only he can explain.
Is it worth sticking your neck out to know what was in your head before?
Yeah, I'd say it's worth it.
Be careful what you wish for.
Iorveth seems to have changed. Have you noticed?
How? Has his arse grown fatter in Saskia's keep?
An elf who was the greatest foe of humans will now fight for their freedom. Doesn't that surprise you?
Only harpies don't change their minds. I'm no expert on elves, but as I see it, he's got a stiffy for Saskia.
Like everybody?
He stood all gentle as a lamb in council, stealing glances at her tits. When she spoke to him, he looked as happy as a fool whittling a wooden toy.
I'd be very disappointed if that was actually the case, because a lot of people look up to Iorveth. You can't, use your forces just because you like some woman.
Vergen seems like an ancient town. Do you know its history?
It's one of the mining colonies Mahakam established. There were lots of them just 500 years ago. Now they're mostly in ruins. It was the first town where dwarves and humans began working side by side. For the past 3 years, it's been a symbol of our common death.
Oh. It's kind of historical, huh? And fitting that now we're fighting on the same side of the battle. Have we wrestled the Zoltan?
I'll arm wrestle you anytime. Now, even.
Guess we're doing it now.
This place stinks of cheese mill patties.
Alright.
The peasants
Here we
now
go.
refuse to shovel manure. They dream
Manure?
of fighting, looting.
Let them dream. Maybe they'll not flee before Hensel's axeman.
The situation's grave. They want freedom, equality.
No pig can jump higher than its...
You had me over a barrel. Did your mum have it off with a bullock?
Alright. Everybody else here, I think Dandelion is okay. Good to see. Dandelion doesn't say anything about the succubus. Fine. Sheldon. Oh.
I taught Scalen a lesson.
Jabim
Heard his joints crack.
probably already has a compress of firm young tits on his arm. In any case, I'm grateful and want you to have this rune stone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wasn't expecting a gift from you.
Consider Scalen humbled.
Always told the old fart he was shite. You're a good sort, Geralt. Here's a runestone from the company to improve your weapons with.
Thank you. Did you have another thing just now with Philippa? No, that's already grayed out. Okay, well, thanks guys. Off to Cynthia next. Cynthia. We haven't really talked about her so far, but she might actually be someone to look out for. I didn't comment on her at all when we first met her, but I did remember that we saw her name before, on Roach's Path, in the note that we found in the Nilfgaardian section of the Kedwenny camp. I remember the note said something like, "Oh, my apprentice Cynthia, blah 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 blah." So in my head, I was like, oh, okay, we're meeting Philippa and Cynthia here, and Philippa is telling me that Cynthia is her apprentice. So in my head, I was like, oh, okay, that note must have said that Philippa is her master. But then I went back and actually looked at the note again, and that doesn't actually seem to be the case, because in that note, the person who is her master is somebody whose name started with a V? And that's not even considering the fact that we found that note in the Nilfgaardian section of the camp. I think Cynthia might be someone to watch out for.
Who are you?
I'm Cynthia, a mage in training. Philippa is my mentor.
My condolences.
No need for that. True, she's a demanding mistress, but she can also be charming. Besides, she's the best there is, Witcher. She has no equals. Excepting, perhaps, the old elven sorceresses. You should see her cast spells. Light and graceful she is. Not like that old tart de Tanzaville.
Old tart?
You know Sheila?
I've seen her cast spells. I've seen all the great sorceresses at work. Sheila's quite manly in her style. Precise, logical, exceptionally composed. But she lacks grace and suppleness.
Is that your opinion? Or are you just repeating what Philippa says?
We agree in our assessment. TRISS Merigold, on the other hand, is talented. But she lacks determination, courage, and a certain cold willfulness that seems necessary.
That's interesting.
Kira Metz and Margarita Lo Antiel are both blasé, seemingly resigned. One's a hedonist and nymphomaniac, the other cares only about her school. They lost enthusiasm for magic long ago. Then there's Francesca Finderbear. Nobody really knows what the old she-elf is capable of. But she's clearly very powerful.
I take it Philippa has none of these flaws, but she must have some weakness.
Ambition. Infinite, boundless, and burning like the Korath Desert.
You're really sucking up to Philippa, huh? I'm onto you. I'm onto you.
Just out of curiosity, how much does a magic course cost these days?
I'm certain you can't afford it, Witcher. Besides, you're too old.
No matter. I have a few of my own tricks as it is.
Parlor tricks.
You mean Witcher's signs? Philippa can conjure up the illusion of a garden full of flowers, fruit trees, and young elves of both sexes copulating merrily all the day. And the illusion is complete. The flowers have an aroma. The fruit and she-elves are juicy.
Invite me over the next time she conjures up this garden. I'd gladly see it. Professional curiosity.
Naturally. But I doubt Philippa's in the mood for complicated illusions. She focuses all her efforts on Saskia.
Yeah, as she should be, because Saskia's dying. This sorceress here, I don't know why she's like trash talking everyone else. Like, who the heck do you think you are? Oh my god, what happened to respecting your elders and like seniors and stuff? Is that not a concept you abide to? Hey Philippa, just gonna steal the stuff in your cupboard. Just kidding, I can't reach it. Well, I think that, yeah, well, we're right here anyway, so instead of going to see Stennis to see if he wants to give me blood, just give her the freaking bandana. Okay.
You wanted to discuss something?
Oh, is that new? Oh, the notes from the catacombs.
There's proof that the Wild Hunt is a vast accumulation of the power. Something that would interest mages, you'd think.
To the mere mortal, anything that is not immediately comprehensible is suspect, the product of a conspiracy. And where there's a conspiracy, well, it's obvious mages must have hatched it.
I'm a mortal, though probably not a mere one. I found the notes of a man who spent his entire life...
Paranormal phenomena interests Cynthia, my, intern. Take this up with her.
Your intern?
Your friend Sheila is conniving with Henselt.
I know this, Witcher, but it's no cause for concern. Sheila is there to ensure Henselt doesn't fall prey to the same people who killed Foltest. We don't want him as sovereign of the Pontar Valley, but we also don't need Kedwin to descend into civil war.
Okay. Hold up. Let's go talk to Cynthia again.
For Saskia. It's very important.
Yes. Are you dressed, by the way? You're just permanently in pajamas here? Like, way to make it obvious that there's something between you guys.
I'm trying to learn something about the Wild Hunt.
Very interesting phenomenon. Like all mysterious things.
Willing to share what you know?
Well, I would be. Provided you found the notes of Morton Collis first. He devoted almost his entire life to researching the hunt. We could go into detail if you had his scribblings.
I found Morton Collis's notes.
So, let's see what you've learned.
Well, there are a few documented facts, but Collis notes the existence of plenty of myths and legends.
Very true. Where shall we start, then?
Ah, so you're like the equivalent to the potion-selling guy in the Kedweni camp.
First and foremost, Collis studied the hunt's movement.
Oh, it's well known that the Wild Hunt moves north to south, never in the opposite direction.
That's what I remember, and Collis's research confirms it. I'm just having trouble understanding why that is.
The retinue's trajectory brings it into our world at the North Pole. Thus, once here, the wraiths can only move south.
Collis claims the hunt's appearance can be predicted by observing the Orcan Nebula.
And eclipses affect how often it appears. In any case, it arrives on the winter solstice, though not necessarily every year.
Collis calculated that the hunt slips into our world in those years when the nebula is in the eastern sky. When I pursued the hunt, I passed through many abandoned villages.
Well, the Wild Hunt abducts young people.
What for?
The wraiths might need workers, warriors, or meat.
Collis seems to favor the slave theory. What's the sorceress's take on the hunt?
The topic makes them uneasy. Since the Council and Conclave banned the use of mind spells, the Wild Hunt has been a taboo topic.
There's some link between mental spells and the cavalcade?
Both addle the brain. Anyone who has come in contact with the Wild Hunt has experienced mental instability that either takes the form of insanity or amnesia. You see, the wraiths emit a magnetic field that severely distorts perception and impedes brain functions.
And that's the point where you're like, amnesia? Oh, amnesia! I have amnesia!
People say the hunt's appearance is an omen of war.
In our times, wars are so frequent, we might even consider flights of honking geese as their harbinger. The hunt traverses our world in winter. Wars usually break out in spring, but only because rulers wish their soldiers to die in battle rather than of cold.
Damn, you cut deep.
Let's summarize.
Based on his observations and calculations of the Wild Hunt's movements, Collis arrived at two equally important conclusions. The first was that the hunt is made up of knights who perished in various worlds and have reconvened as a retinue of vengeance. His second hypothesis states that an unknown, extremely powerful force multiplies wraiths, whose task is to travel between worlds in search of slaves. Both theories seem probable.
Each time someone runs into the hunt, the Wraith's magnetic field causes their mind to descend into chaos. By inference, another meeting with the hunt and its field should reverse the effects of the first.
Perhaps someone who lost their memory or their mind on their first meeting with the hunt could recover either on the second meeting. But I'm afraid that's unproved. Anyone who has managed to escape the Wraiths would rather die than meet them again.
So, you can lose or recover your memory by meeting the wild hunt.
Do you know something I don't?
I have amnesia, but my memory's been coming back since a certain event.
Since when?
Since I killed a specter, the king of the wild hunt.
We didn't kill it, though. We didn't. So it's something that comes back slowly. What if we meet the wild hunt again now? Would it speed it up or reverse it? Okay, well, before we give the bandana, actually, do we want to take a quick peek into the characters? I haven't really opened this up again since we started the chapter again. We'll do a really quick skim reading. Elias. Scoia'tael, young rash elves who do not need to think twice before they take up arms in the fight. Elias hired the Witcher to kill a succubus, a monster that seduced and killed young men. However, the succubus said, "No, I didn't kill him. I didn't kill anybody." Wait, these two paragraphs are the same. What? The beginning are the same. Indeed, there was evidence to prove her claim against Elias. In this situation... Oh. When the Witcher decided to tell Iorveth about his suspicions, Elias took the chance and fled, a fact that would support the notion his conscience was burdened. And this one says, in this situation, the Witcher decided that killing Iorveth's adjutant would prove to be the lesser evil. And so, after a short fight, Elias's life ended. Wait, this makes it sound like I could have spared him, but there was no conversation. He just sort of like came to me and died? Alright. Irso. A rat catcher Vergen hired. But it was worth noting that some of the traps he was selling were large enough to catch a wolf. A highly talented individual, the man known as Irso, had dabbled in many professions. From his times as a rat catcher in Vergen, he still had a wide selection of traps among his wares. Yes, I'm really thankful for him because he had harpy traps. Yes. They were, in his words, for rodents, among others. Colton. Monster? Wait, who is this? What? Revolutions breed monsters, and Colton was one beyond all doubt. Embodying the most primitive peasant desires, frustrations, and fears, he was not bound by moral chains. Such people can commit acts most foul. And the list of this one simple farmer's atrocities was long indeed. Farmer? I can't remember who this guy is. Thorak. Nice braids. Not anymore. Local rune master who took over after Baltimore disappeared a few years earlier. He ran the workshop impeccably, earning the respect and trust of everyone. Only after he died at Geralt's hand was it revealed that Thorak had been behind the disappearance of his master, Baltimore. Thus ends a story of envy that pushed even an honest dwarf to crime. Mighty Numa, yeah, we've seen that guy. Felicia Corey, my savior, who had the surgical tools. Young sorceress from the school at Aretuza must, apart from passing exams, complete an internship under a mistress's watchful eye. So you're kind of like Cynthia, but an actual version, because Cynthia is probably not actually studying magic from Philippa. And she's selling stuff, gotta pay for tuition. Mel? Male? If speech is silver but silence is golden, then Mel must have been sufficiently rich to do something more interesting than run a shop. Nevertheless, the silent elf had some really interesting goods to sell. Oh, these are people from the marketplace. Baltimore. The famous runesmith. But he disappeared a few years earlier. But his handiwork was, and still is, reputed to be the pinnacle of the difficult art of forging runic signs. And we figured out why he disappeared. Elthon, who could forget you? We read this one already. Troll of Ergen! A troll kidnapping a beautiful sorceress? I could believe that. A troll abandoned by his wife for that reason? That's ballad material. Yet not many people would believe a ballad in which a troll asks a witcher for help. The grateful troll returned Triss's ribbon. Make up your mind, what is it? Is it a bandana, a ribbon, or what? To Geralt, and so ended this part of the story. The she-troll. I can confirm that based on my own experience, that feelings of jealousy for a partner and demands for monogamy, even if made for the wrong reasons, can cause many a quarrel and even, on occasion, outright end of relationship. As it turned out, she-trolls were not immune to these feelings and were perfectly capable of turning into screamers, thus spoiling the idol of the family hut. Once more, Geralt put the cart before the horse, as the Witcher's rules go and stood. Oh, as the Witcher's rules go, and stood alongside the monster rather than the humans. He even managed to convince the troll to return to her husband, who eagerly awaited her. Nah, she didn't need to go back. She's a independent troll who don't need no he-troll. Adam Pangrat. We know of him. Yes, but we got something new this time because the circumstances under which we met him were a little bit different. They were fighting the troll. We made them stay. Is he around here somewhere? Oh. Adam Pangrat surrendered to Geralt, thus becoming the conflict's first prisoner of war. Succubus, oh my goodness. The torched village near Vergen proved to be the home of a real succubus. This beautiful creature, possessing hooves instead of feet, drew handsome young men to it. Only handsome young men, not ugly men. In order to seduce them and feed on their life forces, the seductress was accused of brutally murdering many young men. And the accusations seemed to be solid, for you must know that the unpleasant scent of sulfur is not the sole inconvenience one must endure when encountering succubi, which can be as dangerous as vampires. Geralt investigated the murders thoroughly. He concluded that the succubus was innocent, and it was being framed by a jealous lover. The Witcher cleared the seductress of the charges, and she proceeded to thank him for it in her customary beautiful manner. You got the same treatment, Dandelion. You should be okay with it. I do like how they're pretty careful with the wording here. It says, Geralt concluded that this was the case, as opposed to, oh, this is the truth. Kind of leaves a little bit of room for what the actual truth is. We don't actually know. Dandelion. Obviously, when Geralt decided to continue his search in Vergen, located in the borderlands soon to be engulfed by the flames of war, I chose to accompany him. For the Witcher could at times be as naive as a child, and knew as much about politics as a ghoul knows about cooking. Oh, so same thing, but except we're in Vergen. What about the part? Ah, yeah, the succubus. I had already been imperiled when helping him in less rewarding tasks than using poetry to lure an unparalleled demonic lover. Oh no, this is talking about in The Witcher 1, the noon wraiths and the night wraiths. Thus I had the chance to risk my life in the name of 3 most beautiful values: friendship, poetry, and love. There was no other decision to make. Makes for a good ballad. Kingslayer. Yeah, Kingslayer kidnapped Triss. The magic sent Geralt a vision and gave us another bit of information. Letho had been in the area earlier and had ordered his accomplices to assassinate King Henselt. The Kingslayers had been working with Sheila de Tanserville, but just as with Iorveth, their paths had diverged. Whatever finale would conclude this story, Letho claimed it would take place in Loch Muin. Yeah. We will end it off here. Actually, there's not that many left. Okay, sure. Iorveth. When Iorveth chose to fight for a free Pontar Valley, when he swore an oath of allegiance to Saskia, he stood alongside the humans defending Vergen. Few trusted this sudden shift in this uncompromising enemy of the Dwan, an elf responsible for more than one raised village, and the tears of more than one mother over a slain son. The Squirrel Commander had Saskia's full confidence, however, and that had put an end to all discussion. The relations between Vernon Roach and Iorveth were certainly complicated. The Scoia'tael openly hated the Blue Stripes' commander, and doubtless wanted his death, yet one could see in him a shadow of respect for the Temerian's abilities and tenacity. The fact that the elf could give even a hated enemy his due was, I think, to his credit. Zoltan? Yeah, Zoltan came with us to Vergen. and began training the local militia that would soon see its baptism of fire. Aha, baptism of fire, that's the title of one of the books. Though it appeared they would have a hard time, Zoltan was ready to defend the cause he believed in, fighting at the side of elves and men. Given an occasion to heave an axe in good company, Zoltan grabbed it faster than I can unlace a woman's corset. Which is pretty fast, provided I'm sober. Oh, so never then. He followed Geralt without hesitation and proved his worth, showing that there is more to him than a loud mouth. Sheila. Haven't met her personally at all. I don't think we'll be talking to her. So on Roach's side, you meet Sheila, but you don't meet Philippa, but you hear all about her. And on this side, it's the reverse. The shocking truth about Sheila de Tanserville, and the more important pieces of the puzzle concerning her role in the events in the north, would not be fully revealed for some time, but Geralt chanced upon the first clue of her complicity by pure coincidence. One of the dreams stolen by the Harpies pointed to her as one who had commissioned the assassination of the King of Edirn, Demavend. Philippa, sorceress of the Redanian court. Philippa is not a pleasant lady. Yeah. At the time, Philippa Eilhart was staying in the town of Vergen as a part of Saskia, the Dragon Slayer's inner circle. Isn't it weird how we have a dragon here and we have a Dragon Slayer here? Her motives remained unclear, to say the least. The former court magician had never been known for her altruism. However, one cannot deny that without her help, Geralt would not have found his way through the magical mist. Philippa rendered him an invaluable service at the time. Her qualifications in the area of curses, magic, and supernatural phenomena were undeniable. If there was anyone to help the Witcher in this regard back then, it was certainly Miss Eilhart. Still, I was extremely glad that it was Geralt and not I, who was forced to speak with a Tredogor magician. It was Philippa who gave the Witcher a list of the ingredients for the antidote for the poison plaguing Saskia. The knowledge of recipes, ingredients, and their specific properties is always extremely helpful in learning magical arcana, and few could equal Eilhart in that regard. Saskia, we didn't actually get too much free conversation with her. We saw her at the council and then she immediately got poisoned. Yes. Saskia, whom men would follow into fire. A smooth-skinned lass with blonde hair, dark brows, large eyes, shapely lips, full breasts, rounded hips. Ideal icon for a rebellion. As with any true hero, there were many incredible tales about Saskia. Some claimed she was invulnerable to fire, and had thus survived that terrible battle when Sabrina had rained the very flames of hell down upon the combatants. The girl was also famous for killing a dragon. Not the one that's still in Vergen, right? One would be hard-pressed to find better material for a local hero. Word of Saskia's deeds had traveled far beyond Edirn's borders. She was a heroine in the eyes of many. What surprised me the most was that she had made an impression on Iorveth, who had high hopes for her. That is really weird, because Iorveth is an elf and Saskia is human. Prince Stennis. Stennis seemed greatly desired to prove himself the equal or superior of the Virgin of Edirn. He had strong support from the nobility, yet the common folk had few reasons to sympathize with him. Yeah, if you're all the way up there, how can the common folk sympathize with you? Deathmold, who we haven't seen at all since the beginning. Yeah, he's a sorcerer advisor in the court of King Henselt. Yarpen! Our friendship with Yarpen began with the hunt for a golden dragon. Yes, the golden dragon, who turned out to be, Sword of Destiny spoilers, who turned out to be a human. Or I guess the proper way to say it is that the dragon was able to shapeshift between a human form and a dragon form. And on that front, I'm totally not ruling out the possibility that the dragon is a person, our dragon, the one in Vergen. The Hunt of the Golden Dragon was later described in one of my ballads, and anyone interested in the story should read it. Yes, Zigrin loves gold. He has a body sense of humor, sober outlook, pragmatism, and loyalty to his friends. Geralt mentioned that he later met Yarpen and his lads in His Majesty's Secret Service. The Majesty in question being Henselt of Kedwin, for whom they were escorting a secret cargo. Huh, and now you're on this side. Though their own situation was not cheerful at all, they nevertheless aided the Witcher, easily proving that a dwarf won't abandon a friend in need. Sheldon Skaggs. We met him under the ancient oak, Bleferus, where I treated the local Count Palatine, and the public gathered in great numbers to hear my performance. Oh, it's Dandelion, not Geralt, right. Skaggs is a mighty warrior, straightforward like all his folk, plain of word, yet at the same time sensitive about his race, and especially the honor of dwarven women. As a veteran of Sodden and Brenna, where he fought as an officer of the Mahakam Volunteer Detachment, he appreciates songs of military and heroic deeds. He does not hesitate to express his appreciation through material means, thus disproving those who would portray all dwarves as misers, insensitive to true art. So reading the entries again like this, it becomes more obvious why, like, people that we never even talked to when we were on the other path have their own entry and their own picture and everything. It's because we run into them here. Like, for example, I remember reading Prince Dennis's entry when we were on the other path, and I was like, what? Like, who is this guy? I don't even remember seeing this guy at all. Turns out he's a pretty big figure here. Okay, well, all that catching up done, we can go give the freaking bandana to Philippa.
You wanted to discuss something?
Oh, and talk about the dragon's dream.
I found a stolen dream. It seems powerful. I think it's a dragon's dream.
Excellent. That should do nicely. Come back and see me when you have the remaining ingredients.
What the heck do you have on your... Is that a stamp? Or like, what is that? Weird.
You wanted to discuss something?
So we gave her the dragon's dream as the powerful thing. The powerful magical device that she needs for her, voodoo magic.
I've got Triss's bandana.
Have you learned anything?
Triss was here. Letho forced her to teleport.
Why would he? There are easier ways to travel.
2 of Letho's comrades, probably those responsible for Demoven's death, were hiding among the Scoia'tael. When it became evident in Flotsam that the Kingslayer wanted to dispose of Iorveth, the Scoia'tael leader gave the order to eliminate them. Letho had to reach the unit before the elven messengers did. He could only do that by teleporting.
I assumed that Triss wanted to teleport to me, but she missed the mark and they ended up in the gullies. What happened next?
Letho left her in a gully, wounded. He probably thought that she'd diversify the local trolls' diet. He himself went to see the elves and massacred the unit with his comrades. They're somewhere on the other side of the fog.
What about Triss?
She escaped from the troll. Everything suggests she's somewhere in the area.
I can assure you she is not in Vergen.
She has to be here. Locate her.
I'll try, but it will take some time. Have you learned anything else?
So maybe she still is a statue, because when you're in that statue form, I don't think you can be located easily. Do we want Philippa to know this? Because we know that Philippa knows this, but do we want her to know that we know it? Well, I mean, okay, I'm trying to think, normally, if you were just going through this path, you would probably just say it. Because you wouldn't know that Philippa and Sheila are working together. Okay.
Sheila ordered Letho and Triss killed.
I can't believe that.
Believe it. I ran into some mercenaries she enlisted to kill Letho and anyone found with him.
She must have meant the other Kingslayers. Are you sure she knew Triss was with him?
Are you so sure of Sheila? There was something going on between her and Triss. I sensed a lot of tension.
A misunderstanding.
Maybe. Let's find Triss and clear everything up.
I need some time. What's going on out there?
Let's see.
What's going on?
The peasants want to take pitchforks to King Demoven's son.
What?
Why?
The Dragonslayer's servant is spreading rumors that Stennis poisoned Saskia. The commoners are in an uproar. They want to dispense justice.
Where's the prince?
Barricaded himself in his room, guarded by nobles. For the moment, the peasants are still respectful, but they are feverish. A fight is inevitable. Help us out. The situation is dire. I'm going to inform the other nobles.
looks like our conversation is being cut short here. I don't like people like Stennis. Me neither, but I don't think he's the one who did it. Not unless if he was working with Thorak or something, because that Thorak chalice thing seemed pretty damning. Yeah.
Dogs growl at cats, cats hiss at the dogs. A noble's a wolf to a peasant.
Forget those animalistic similes and take care of it. I'll try to locate Triss. And should anything happen to Prince Stennis, remember, we need his blood.
I remember.
So just let the peasants attack him, and we'll just bring a cup? Yeah, we'll bring like a chalice over there, and then like, while he's being attacked, we'll just be like, oh, excuse me, can I just scoop up that blood that's coming out of you? Stop the peasants from lynching the prince. I guess that's sort of a double-edged sword with relying on a figurehead, like Saskia, because if she's good and well, then everything's good. Everything's awesome. But if anything happens to her, then everyone becomes very nervous and upset too.
You say she's dead?
You're stupid. She just fell unconscious. The White Wolf will save her.
But I heard...
Shut your trap if you don't know what's going on!
Ooh. Are the rumors of Saskia's death greatly exaggerated? We find out now.